Tonight, the White House is delivering a major update on the ongoing conflict involving Iran, a conflict that is now drawing global attention as tensions continue to rise across the Middle East. During a press briefing in Washington, officials addressed the latest developments in military operations linked to the situation. The update follows recent strikes targeting Iranian military infrastructure, actions that U.S. officials say were intended to weaken missile systems, disrupt drone capabilities, and limit other defense assets connected to Iran's military network. But alongside those developments, officials also acknowledged a growing concern: the possibility of retaliation, because in conflicts like this, every military action carries the risk of a response. And intelligence agencies across the United States and allied countries are now closely monitoring potential reactions from Iran and groups aligned with Tehran. To understand the significance of the latest White House briefing, it is important to examine the broader context of the conflict. Tensions between the United States and Iran have existed for decades. The two countries have often disagreed over regional influence, nuclear development programs, and military activities throughout the Middle East. In recent months, those tensions intensified after military strikes targeted several Iranian military facilities and leadership figures. According to defense officials, the purpose of those strikes was to reduce threats posed by missile systems and other weapons capable of targeting U.S. forces and allied partners in the region. Following those developments, Iran's political leadership changed rapidly. A successor leadership structure was established, and Iranian officials warned that they would respond to what they described as foreign aggression. Those warnings have since raised concerns among global security analysts, because leadership changes during periods of conflict can sometimes create unpredictable situations. In statements released through Iranian state media, officials said the country would continue resisting what it calls foreign military pressure. Iranian leaders also suggested that retaliation could involve actions against U.S. bases and allied facilities across the region. Some statements also mentioned the possibility of actions affecting the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway is one of the most strategically important shipping routes in the world. Nearly 20% of global oil shipments pass through this area every day. Because of that, any instability near the Strait of Hormuz can affect energy markets worldwide. Energy analysts say that insurance costs for ships traveling through the region have already increased due to rising security concerns. At the same time, intelligence agencies in the United States and allied nations continue monitoring possible developments closely. Officials have emphasized that there is currently no confirmed evidence of an imminent attack on the United States mainland. Most security concerns remain focused on the Middle East region, where American military bases and diplomatic missions are located. During the latest White House briefing, officials described the objectives of the ongoing military effort. According to the administration, the operation has several strategic goals. The first objective involves reducing Iran's ballistic missile capabilities. Missile technology has long been considered one of the most significant elements of Iran's military strategy. The second objective focuses on disrupting networks responsible for producing and launching drones. Drone systems have become increasingly important in modern warfare because they allow surveillance and targeted strikes from long distances. The third objective centers on protecting international shipping routes and maintaining regional stability. Officials said protecting energy supply routes remains a critical priority. They also emphasized that the operation is intended to address security threats while avoiding a broader regional conflict. At the same time, officials acknowledged that the situation remains complex and could change rapidly. Conflicts of this scale often involve developments that unfold quickly and sometimes unexpectedly. One of the most closely watched aspects of the situation involves intelligence monitoring. Following recent military strikes, intelligence agencies warned that Iran or allied groups could attempt cyber attacks, drone strikes, or operations targeting American interests. For that reason, defense officials say they are coordinating closely with allied governments across the region. Military commanders are also reviewing defense systems and strengthening security measures at bases and diplomatic facilities. The goal, officials say, is to detect potential threats early and respond quickly if necessary. Preventing escalation remains a key objective. In recent days, the conflict has already begun spreading beyond Iran itself. Groups aligned with Tehran across the region have launched attacks in support of Iranian leadership. For example, Hezbollah forces in Lebanon have fired rockets toward Israel. Meanwhile, missile and drone strikes have targeted military installations and facilities connected to U.S. allies in the Gulf region. These developments highlight how quickly regional conflicts can expand when multiple actors become involved. And that is one reason world leaders are watching the situation so closely. because additional escalation could complicate efforts to stabilize the region. The situation has also triggered strong reactions across the international community. Some governments have expressed support for actions aimed at limiting Iran's military capabilities. Others have urged diplomatic solutions to prevent further escalation. Meanwhile, protests have taken place in several countries. Some demonstrators support the military actions taken so far. Others argue that diplomatic negotiations should be prioritized instead of military responses. These differing reactions illustrate how deeply the conflict is influencing global politics. Beyond security concerns, the conflict is also having economic consequences. Energy markets are reacting to the possibility of disruptions near the Strait of Hormuz. Oil prices have fluctuated as traders assess potential supply risks. Because roughly one-fifth of the world's oil shipments pass through this route, instability there can influence global energy markets. Financial institutions and governments are now evaluating contingency plans in case tensions escalate further. For now, the White House says the focus remains on completing the objectives of the operation while protecting American forces and allies. Officials say they are monitoring developments continuously and maintaining close communication with regional partners. Diplomatic channels also remain open, although there are currently few signs of immediate negotiations. The coming days may determine whether the situation stabilizes or moves into a new phase of the conflict. For now, the world continues to watch closely. The White House says it will provide further updates as new developments emerge. And with tensions still high across the Middle East, every statement from Washington or Tehran could influence what happens next. Because in conflicts like this, the next decision from either side can shape the future of the entire region.